On top of your instructors, you also have to deal with commissars. They are political officers whose only purpose is maintaining discipline and morale in the Imperial Guard. They have authority to execute anyone for any reason they deem necessary. They don't outrank anyone in the command structure, but no one outranks them either. A commissar can shoot a general as easily as a private. Their bolt pistols use mass reactive rounds that cause your head to explode when they hit, spraying gore across everyone nearby. This is deliberate to make the message clear. Commissars travel with regiments into combat, and their only job is to maintain morale through fear. The philosophy is simple. If soldiers are more afraid of their commissar than they are of the enemy, they'll keep fighting. If you show fear in battle, the commissar shoots you in front of your squad so everyone understands what happens when you don't follow orders. If an entire unit fails to advance during an assault, the commissar might even execute the unit's officer to motivate the rest. You continue to train on your ship while you travel through the warp to your first battle. The warp is a parallel dimension of pure psychic energy that allows travel across the galaxy faster than light. Without it, the Imperial couldn't exist. Traveling between star systems would take centuries using conventional propulsion, but the warp is also a nightmare realm where time doesn't work normally. Physical laws break down, and daemons hunt for human souls. It's literally a dimension of suffering and chaos that exists alongside normal reality. During the trip, your Imperial ship travels using 3 essential components. The warp drive tears a hole in reality and translates the ship into the Imperium. The Gellerfield creates a protective bubble of real space around the ship, keeping the warp at bay. And finally, navigators. Mutant psychers born with a third eye that can perceive warp currents to guide the ship on safe paths. But even with all these safeguards, warp travel is incredibly dangerous. The warp is like hell to the Imperium, even with a shield around your ship. Warp travel leaves psychological scars on everyone who experiences it. You have nightmares that feel more real than reality. Dreams where you watch yourself die over and over. You have hallucinations of loved ones who died years ago. You even feel the constant sense that something is watching you from just beyond your perception, waiting for a moment of weakness to take control of your body. The warp is also the home of the Chaos Gods, massive psychic entities that feed on human emotion and command armies of countless daemons that are hungry for mortal souls. Prolonged warp journeys can drive people insane. Some of your crew members even begin to murder other crew members out of paranoia. Long warp travels can also give you what's called warp sickness, a condition that causes complete mental breakdown, terrifying visions, and the overwhelming certainty that you are going to die. Some of your comrades throw themselves into machinery or out of airlocks trying to escape the psychological torture. Others just stop eating or speaking, their minds shattered. Commanders just shrug because this is considered normal. The only question is how many recruits will lose their minds. After what seems like months of training during the warp travel, you finally arrive at your deployment zone. By the time you get there, you're already traumatized before the actual fighting even begins. You're deployed as soon as you arrive. Fresh soldiers are sent directly into ongoing combat, replacing the soldiers from yesterday or last week or last month. The environments you fight in are as deadly as the enemies. You're deployed to worlds where if you take off your mask for even a few seconds, you choke to death on toxic gases. Ice worlds where temperatures drop so low that exposed skin freezes solid in seconds. Where you lose your fingers to frostbite and watch your comrades die from hypothermia before even seeing the enemy. Desert worlds where the heat is so extreme that soldiers die from heat stroke inside their armor. You cross irradiated wastelands where the ground itself is lethal. Where exposure guarantees a slow death from radiation poisoning over the following weeks. You fight in jungles filled with alien predators that see humans as prey. Every single world where you fight is extremely dangerous just by arriving there. And if you think you'll be prepared for this, well, think again. The equipment you use reflects exactly how much the Imperium values your life. You're going into battle with the cheapest gear the Imperium could create. For armor, you get mass-produced flak vests designed for cost efficiency, not protection. The armor might protect you against shrapnel and low-velocity projectiles from primitive weapons, but it's essentially useless against anything else. Your standard weapon is a lasgun, but it's called the flashlight by pretty much everyone who's ever carried one. The lasgun is incredibly cheap to mass-produce, and the ammunition can be recharged using sunlight, electrical outlets, or even open fire. This makes it perfect for any army that spans a million worlds and can't maintain complex supply chains. The Imperium doesn't care if your weapon is effective. They care if it's efficient. To make it even worse, all your equipment is old. Like, really old. Most lasguns currently in service are older than the grandparents of the soldiers carrying them. The Imperium has regressed so far technologically that new weapon designs are rarely developed. They just keep manufacturing replacement parts. So if your lasgun breaks during combat, that's your problem to solve. And if your armor tears because the material has degraded over decades of use, well, get good. Your lasgun can take off a human arm with one shot, which sounds impressive until you consider what you'll actually be fighting against. If you're fighting orcs, you're facing 8-foot-tall aliens who are stronger than any human, who get more dangerous the more of them there are. Orcs have a psychic field called the Warg that makes them tougher and faster when they fight in large groups. An orc can take 3 lasgun shots to the chest and keep charging. If you're fighting witches who can manipulate reality with their minds, your lasgun becomes even more of a joke. You can't shoot what you can't see, and psychers don't fight like normal enemies.